fact that you guys know what the play-in's all about. I know it's not what you aspire to get to, obviously, but you know what this is going to feel like tomorrow. How much does that help?
I mean, ultimate clarity. You're not looking at the standings no more. You're not trying to see if they lose, if we win. We got to win 2 road games. Punch our ticket.
Speaking obviously about their pace, also known about them really getting into what kind of lead them, especially after the triple double against you guys. What's going to be? What have you seen from him, and what do you think is going to be the key to X factor to stop him?
Uh, I feel like since his trade to the Bulls, people kind of shitted on him, uh, and he took that personally. Obviously, it's not only us. He's been having success with. He's been doing that to everybody since the trade. I feel like so. Uh, to me, man, you just make things difficult. Understanding that he gets a mismatch, he's like he's going downhill, uh, and we just got to guard our yard.
And I'm sure you draw from experience. I mean, you guys have been in a few of these the last few years, knowing you lose, you're done. How do you draw from that going into tomorrow?
It's like March Madness. Win or go home.
Sort of shooting that guys like Herro and Erik, for him to get the season like this with a meaningful game like this, how is that going to be sort of beneficial for the long term?
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of rookies out here that they're home right now. They're not playing for nothing. So for your rookie year to go into a playoffs or type of play-in with a playoff atmosphere, I feel like that's great for anybody that's young and upcoming in this league. Because when he gets to the point where he's 4 or 5 years in and he's been to the playoffs consecutive times, that's when you start to look at how much he takes a leap in the playoff, understanding what it is, understanding what's at stake, and how much more you have to do.
Obviously, both games, this and the game 7.
Yeah, we need you, Tyler. Don't even go nowhere. Don't even go nowhere.
What's the difference between one of these playing games versus a game 7 where you have the 6 games of the series the night before to set it on court narrative?
I mean, I can really compare it to March Madness. It's one of those things where, I mean, we played them 3 times in the regular season, but it's one of those things where it feels like a March Madness game. You know what's at stake. You know what you got to do. You got to go out there and handle business.
You guys just played each other a week ago. How much have you guys drawn back from just that specific game as compared for tomorrow?
Spo said it. I mean, everybody got a plan till you get punched in the face. We got punched in the face last week. Now I feel like we obviously understand what's at stake at this point and where we're at.
How much do you want to slow them down versus just guard them better at the pace they want to play at?
Nah, you got to slow them down. That's a big part of the offense. So I mean, the biggest thing for us is getting back and making them play in half court on makes and misses.
You as a captain, what did it seem like in the last 12 games where you guys won 8 of them and obviously came up with a 10 gamer? But what have you been tasking yourself with to be sure that the team is confident going into this matchup?
I mean, just giving guys ultimate clarity. Building guys up, giving them confidence. We don't need we don't have any more shoulda, woulda, coulda moments. You can't go out there second guessing yourself, and that's the biggest thing for us. Once you start second guessing, that's when the game can get away from you. So once everybody has ultimate clarity, confidence in one another, I think we'll be all right.
How much do you draw from the experiences that you guys have had in these kind of games where you know that if you lose that game, the season's over? How much do you draw from those experiences to help you?
I mean, yeah, you lean on that. Anytime you go to the postseason, I think it helps when you got multiple guys who have experience in these situations, which we do. And I think it's important to lean on that as much as we can going into tomorrow.
Slowing them down is obviously a key for you guys. But obviously, looking at what Gideon has been doing this season and having a triple double with you guys, what do you see from him, and how do you think is the step he takes?
Yeah, he's an aggressive downhill driver. In the 3 games that we've played, he's been really aggressive getting downhill for himself, for others making plays. He's a handful getting downhill, so we're gonna have to, put multiple bodies in front of him, try to make it as tough as possible, and not let him get rhythm early. Once he gets rhythm early, he's able to kind of stay in that mode all night.
Tyler, is there a balance between I mean, obviously you want to slow them down, but you guys don't want to be not aggressive. You want to push for your own easy baskets. Is there a balance right there?
Yeah, we're gonna play our game. At the end of the day, it's about us, being us to our best ability, and then being able to put a game plan together around ourselves to slow them down. Obviously getting back in transition, um, getting bodies on guys so they're not, running free. It's going to be a great game for competition, and we're just going to have to go out there and fight for what we want.
Outside of the result, what has been the common theme you think of the three matchups you've done this season that they've come up on top of?
I feel like we should have won all 3 games that we've played. I think we've won almost every quarter in every game except one quarter, so it's a matter of a 48-minute game plan and sticking to it and, being consistent to the game plan for the full length of the game. Yeah, I feel like March and April, around this time of the year, is when this is what you work for as a competitor, as a professional athlete. This is kind of what you work for in the summers. All the extra hours, late nights, early mornings are pretty much for these times, and it's a great time to be alive and feel like I got to lean on my work I've put in to take me to where I'm trying to go. Yeah, everything matters. Every possession matters. Every shot matters. Everything, literally everything matters. From the moment you wake up tomorrow, it's time to roll.
When you hear that, obviously, the aspirations to play in tournament, Kaseya has never made it out. Obviously, this team is no stranger to being guided before. But when you hear that as a challenge, does that sort of maybe get you guys going?
Hell yeah. We're excited for this challenge. We dropped those 10 games, and it kind of our path became more clear, as that happened. But we still are in the saddle. We haven't let go of the rope, and we're excited for this challenge.
Tyler, you're a band man, the leader of the team, like mentally, what do you need to provide in order for you guys to help see this team through not only tomorrow, but having the opportunity to play it?
Yeah, I think just leaning on our experience. Obviously, we've played in a couple of these playing games now. Have both had deep playoff runs, so I think just leaning on our experience, being a emotional, vocal leader for the guys who haven't been in this type of situation. But I think just stressing everyone to be themselves, play aggressive. We need the best versions of everybody tomorrow.
Bam used the line, ultimate clarity that you have now. There's no standings, there's no nothing.
Right.
You have to go win a game.
Yeah.
Isn't this where you guys kind of enjoy living?
I hope so. It makes you feel alive. That's for damn sure. Anything that just raises the stakes. Again, I've mentioned it. Our locker room doesn't feel this way, but certainly on the outside, you can think, oh, this is the 9 playing 10. What does that mean? Well, it means a lot. We have an opportunity, to get a win, get us closer to another game. To ideally get another win to get in this party. But it's going to be competitive, and that's what I'm looking forward to see if it can bring out a higher level, and that's what I expect.
Everybody knows everything about every other team at this point anyway. But the fact you played them in a real game, not with a bunch of guys sitting a week ago, is there something extra to be gleaned from you know them, they know you, and it's all fair?
Yeah, but it still always comes down to outside of the game planning, outside of adjustments. You can look at it, one way because it's the 4th game in 2 months. It almost is like the 4th game in a series, but still it comes down to whichever team can impose their will, impose their game more consistently than the other team. Up in Chicago, they certainly did that. We felt it. Other than the first 10, 12 minutes of the game, they pretty much we're controlling the tenor of the game, and that's got to be our response. In a 1-game deal to be able to find a way to impose our game.
How much do you lean on a particular band, Tyler, having been in these games the last couple of years, knowing what it's like as far as what's ahead tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not only these games because several of the players have been in the same thing. We've played them 2 years in a row, but we have a great deal of playoff experience, and what you want to lean on in that experience is to be able to understand when you have to win one game, what level of urgency there has to be there, level of sustainability. And again, what I'm talking about is, can you continue to impose your will on the game when another team is trying to do the same thing? We have guys that have been through the wars, um, that understand how to approach a game like this, and everybody else can follow.
So what is the balance between trying to slow down what they're trying to do, but also not hitting the brakes so hard as to
Yeah.
your detriment?
Look, we don't want to play a prevent offense or a prevent type game. We want to attack this game. And, you can dance with the fire, but you got to be smart about it. Because, getting relief points, for us is also important. And we don't want to play just a snail's pace to try to slow them down. They'll still score, or find ways to get, that ball up the court. So, again, who can control the game? Who can impose their will? We know what their will is. We know what their game is. We have to be able to get to ours.
The creed has been very well documented. But
Yeah.
what do you say about what Giddy has done from the position?
Yeah, he's unlocked a lot of their speed, their driving, their attacking, their aggressiveness. So he gets downhill. That happens right out of the gate. But he also is one of the top pitch ahead guys, and they can get you scrambling if you're not attentive and intentional about how you're going to handle that. But he certainly has added an element to their game.
What's the progress have you seen with Nico? Obviously, right now. Obviously, I know it's frustrating
Yeah,
with the hand.
but he's made a ton of progress. One thing he was able to do all along was work out and do a lot of lifting and conditioning. Everything that was allowed to do, with his hand, he was able to do it. So he looks great. His body fat is great. His conditioning level for not playing in a game is really at a high level. And then the last, 2 or 3 weeks, he's been able to do considerable player development. All right, thank you.